I've never met a racist who was well-traveled. Thankfully, I don't think I've met too many genuine racists in my life. I remember some kids at school who expressed some racist ideas, or at least like to use some racist words. I've met a few at various jobs I've had, or just random encounters with people on the street. But I've never met one, at least I've never met anyone who's openly racist while traveling. And I've met a lot of people traveling. I've met people from all different cultures, all different countries. Met people who are rich, met people who are poor, people who are black, white, Asian, Latino, mixed race, you know, people from all over. But one thing they had in common, at least the real travelers, the people who travel deeply and widely and like to push out of their comfort zone and embrace new cultures, almost without exception, they are the ones who seem to be the most open-minded about this whole treat people equally and not judge people based on stupid things like their external appearance, but just judge people based on their actions and see each culture as just a different shade of this beautiful earth that we inhabit. It's like, it's common sense to most people I know who have traveled and who have witnessed it with their own eyes. That's not to say that the opposite is true, that everyone who lives in a small town and has always lived in a small town is necessarily racist. I would never say that. That in and of itself would be discrimination against people in small towns. However, I will say that the people I've experienced who have been racist are usually from a background where they haven't been exposed to a lot of ideas like that. They haven't been exposed to a lot of different ways of living. And usually they don't want to. Like, oftentimes they're worried about different people coming to their society. They're worried about people changing their way of life, which I think is almost a human characteristic. It's almost human to want to like hold on to what you have. Like, we don't always do so good with change, human beings. We're afraid of things we don't understand and things that look different and people who look different and speak different. It's not just like a white American or Canadian thing. It's not just it's like a human nature thing. We just struggle with things we don't understand and we don't have experience with. But travel gives you experience. Travel is, like, you can read about different cultures, you can watch movies about different cultures. All that stuff is good and can like plant the seed of the idea that, hey, these other cultures seem pretty cool. But it's not until you actually go there, or at least meet people and talk to them from these cultures, but hopefully you get to go there yourself, and then you see, like, we're all the same deep down. Some countries have more money, some countries have different ways of celebrating a holiday or different foods that they like to eat, but that human spirit, everything that makes people great, is the same amongst all people. Since this is a community of mostly travelers who are watching my page, watching my content, I mean, I'm preaching to the choir. You guys already know this. But I think it's important to point it out and to keep pointing it out, because these past couple of years, it feels like race relations are moving backwards, not forwards. It's like this year, it's Asians who are dealing with a lot of discrimination in many ways. And the whole history with the virus coming from China might be part of that. There's various reasons why people can come up with, but when I see people committing hate crimes against Asians in Canada, it just, well, it hurts, because as many of you know, I have an Asian girlfriend, Nari, who, you know, she's born and raised in South Korea, moved to Canada. But that's just an example that hits me close to home. For many people, I mean, shit, everyone has their own perspective. Like what was happening last year with the George Floyd situation in America, and Black Americans continue to have a lot of injustices, that's for sure. And many people all around the world continue to have a lot of injustices. And racism, in many ways, is alive and well. And maybe all the fear we've all had these past 12 months, maybe all the, I don't know, the difficulty coping with life during lockdown, maybe it's bringing out people's bad tendencies. Maybe it's bringing out people's negativity and they're looking for someone to blame. Let's blame the Asians. Oh, there's more crime. Blame black people from these neighborhoods. Blame, oh, the Latinos coming over the border. Like, it's all coming from that same place of hating something you don't understand and judging someone who you have no experience with. Because if you'd been to Asia, how could you actually hate the people who were like so kind to you in their own countries? If you've been to the neighborhood where George Floyd grew up, maybe you wouldn't have. Well, it's just ignorance in the purest form. And we talk a lot about like ways forward. We talk a lot about how people need to be less racist and examine their own bias and examine their own perspective. But like, what better way is there to do that than to travel? Travel to me is the greatest teacher there is. Travel to me is the way we move past this ignorance. We actually move to a world where we're all seen as equals in the true sense of the word. And even if you can't travel, heck, just travel to like another neighborhood in your own city. Travel to like a Chinatown or an Indian neighborhood, or like just travel by eating at a different restaurant than you usually eat at. Travel by speaking to your neighbor who's from a different background than you are. Like, travel by reading a book written by someone different than you are. Like, there's so many ways to travel. I like actually traveling, getting on the airplane and flying somewhere. That's you know, that's my way of traveling. But travel however you can, as often as you can, as widely as you can. And that, for me, is how we're going to get past all this racial nonsense that we've been dealing with for thousands of years. And that's how we're going to make the world a better place. And if you have more ideas for topics you'd like me to talk about, like, as you can tell, I'm just tired of holding my tongue about things. I'm tired of not talking about things that I feel passionate about. I'm tired of not speaking about issues that are going on in the world, because there's a lot of shit that needs to be changed. And yeah, I don't know what my videos have to do with that, but I just want to be a voice for something good, I guess. So if there's more topics you'd like to hear me talk about, leave a comment, let me know. Hope you had an awesome weekend. Happy Easter to anyone who celebrates Easter. And yeah, see you next time. Peace.